Are we live? Beep. Okay, I think we're live. Okay. Hi, YouTube. It's Mayy Hemm. This is my first live stream, and I just wanted to do a live stream to prove that I am alive and a human biological creature just like you. Anyways, uh, I don't really know how this works yet. So, because I'm not really good with technology, when I was growing up, there wasn't like the internet and hello person, first person, hamburger. That's funny. It's like a hamburger, but it's like a joke about boogers. That's you got me there. Good one. Haven't heard that one before, I gotta say. Um, Welcome to my chat. I'm Mayy Hemm. I am a human being. I am just a normal human girl. I don't have any supernatural powers or abilities, and I'm not on any federal watch lists. This is my first live stream. So as I was saying, I'm not really good with technology because uh, when I was growing up, there was just not like the internet and computers and the printing press like there are today. So this is kind of, I don't know, I don't adapt very quickly to new centuries. Live stream. Hello, Roy9K. You make live stream? Fire. What, thank you. Um, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Have you ever heard of the boogler? He's like the tooth fairy, but he's the ghost that puts the boogers in your nose. I have not heard of the boogler. That is good to know. I do get visited by the boogler frequently, but it's usually I have blood in my nose that I have to get. Does that ever happen to you? Just like hardened like crystals of blood? Um, I, I, this is a normal human experience, right? Right? Is the boogler responsible for the blood crystals in my nose? Does anyone know that? Or is that a separate fairy? Also, like, what does the tooth fairy think about when you get your wisdom teeth out? Like, do those ones count? Um, is the boogler responsible for both of those, or is there like a blood boogler, like a bloogler? This is we need answers. That means you have too much blood. Your body is trying to get rid of it. Honestly, lately I feel like I don't have enough blood. I feel like I could use some blood donations. I am legally not allowed to donate blood because I don't have enough blood. Um, but you are legally allowed to donate blood to me. That is a um there's actually a page on my website where you can donate blood and other gifts to me. Um, Today I was learning that you can send blood electronically because if you donate your plasma, you get money, and then you can turn that money into cryptocurrency, and then you just basically can send blood over the internet. I think that is how it works. Wisdom teeth are for the bone fairy. Oh, the bone fairy. How many fairies are there? And are there like do they get along? Also, is the boogler a type of fairy? You said he's a ghost. Um, okay. So are ghosts is the boogler like how biologically different is the boogler from the tooth fairy? Like, are they in, did they evolve from a common ancestor? Was there originally like a sort of fey creature? Because which came first, the teeth or the tooth fairy? You can buy 100 human teeth for $450 online. They'd be good for pranking people. Like, imagine your friend just keeps finding teeth in their couch cushions. Well, my friends do keep finding teeth in their couch cushions because in my line of work, sometimes you end up with a few more teeth than you need. And teeth can be used to identify bodies. So it's important to remove the teeth. But then you need to dispose of the teeth. And the key, I actually haven't researched this. I actually don't know if this works. Don't quote me on this. But I figured that if you just put one tooth from each different, so you don't have a full set of teeth from the same person, you have like one tooth from every different person, and you put those in a set, then I feel like people would be confused of not knowing who they came from. I don't know if this works or not. I'm not on any watch lists, I swear. I think they are like coworkers. Yes, okay. But like, is it a family business? Like, did were their great 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 grandparents like the same people, you know? Or are they kind of like, did they evolve differently? Did Because you do see that in nature, you do see sometimes species that seem the same have a common ancestor, but sometimes they have separate ancestors, and the traits that they end up evolving to have are just so useful in that environment that no matter what common ancestor you have, they all kind of move towards those common traits. Um, like, I think that happens with crabs. Like, I think things tend to turn into crab-like beings generally when given the opportunity. I don't think they know each other personally. Um, does anyone really know each other personally, or are we all kind of like just trapped in our own heads and we have an idea of each other that doesn't really align with who the person is? And what is it even to be a person? Personality traits seem universal to animals and humans. Well studied is the personality trait of cautiousness versus boldness in some fish. I think when God made me, he forgot to put any caution in and just put all the bold. I think he had some leftover bold, like, when I have leftover teeth, sometimes I just put them in things to use it up. Um, but I think he might have had some leftover boldness from all the anxious people he was making that he didn't use in them, and he just put that all in me. Roy Nanke. If you have issues with blood, iron together with vitamin C and vitamin B12 might help, but take the iron only every 2 days or it won't be absorbed. God help my fellow vamps out. Thank you very much for the advice, my fellow human being. Human. Um, uh, I do. I do eat. Sometimes I eat cows, which I think there's vitamin B12 in them. Will this increase my blue Fret 214? Probably, maybe. I don't really have my own blood. I kind of just have other people's that I borrow. But this might work for you. I want to say thank you guys for carrying this conversation because I was like so prepared to like talk to myself. Thank you guys for talking to me. I appreciate it. Um, I mean, the voices in my head are very talkative also, so I could do it. But I appreciate the engagement. Um, I should go rant on about something though. Um, Do you ever think about, did you know that like essential oils have endocrine disruptors in them that can like a lot of people are like, hippie people that are really into health stuff are like, "Oh, I love to use essential oils." But I learned in science class that like essential oils can actually disrupt your hormones, give you cancer and stuff. Because this hand cream smells really good, but then it might give me cancer, so I don't use it. This is just water. Don't worry about it. What drink is this? I just said this is water, as you can see by how clear and non-colored it is. I made decaf coffee to try to help my calculus study today. That sounds really good. Unfortunately, I'm allergic to like everything, including coffee and decaf coffee, but I do really like the taste of coffee. It just tries to kill me when I drink it. So I encourage anyone who can tolerate coffee to drink some coffee on my behalf, and so that I can kind of like, decaf coffee still has the B vitamins and potassium. I learn something new every single day. Um, did you know that dates have potassium in them? Not like the fruit, like the men you meet on Tinder. It's in their blood. I don't use Tinder anymore. Um, it's important to drink enough water every day. I think water is a really good metaphor for human consciousness and souls because everyone, I don't know if you've watched my video, The Egg. I didn't write that, I just performed it. It's a very famous story. It went viral around like 2012 by James Weir, who wrote The Martian also. Short story about the idea that everyone is the same soul. And I almost believe that, but I don't think that there is just like one soul. Like, I don't think the unit of one soul is the correct unit measurement of soul. I think it's more like in a glass of water, there's all these tiny billions of molecules of H2O. And that's more like what soul is like, because the water that's in that glass, all the molecules used to be different places before. And I think our souls are constantly cycling through our being. A dialogue on personal identity and immortality. Hackett Philosophical Dialogues talked about how do you tell when something is the same river when you're standing further down the riverbank? Is it the same river because it's the same water? I think that is, I want to say that's a quote from Epicurus. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river and he is not the same man. So I think they plagiarized from Epicurus, the ancient Greek philosopher. Water is the element of calm, unconscious emotions. Yes, I do like that philosophical idea of it. But when it comes, I was thinking like the water cycle is a good metaphor, I think, for how the air in our body cycles through us, and the water does, and I think our soul and our consciousness does as well. That the awareness we're using right now could have been recycled and used in someone else's, and it's not necessarily all the same molecules as it was in their body. So we're all kind of constantly being reincarnated every moment. It was assigned reading for the open Yale course on psychology. Well, I think you can call out Yale for plagiarizing Epicurus, because Yale is so strict about plagiarism. I think their textbook may have, if they at least did not quote their source properly. So just don't trust the big institutions, I guess. And was it psychology or philosophy? What if when you die you become a fly, and then to get out of it you have to become fly babies? If you die, you respawn until you complete the job. Clarified with have to have, because yeah, that does change the meaning quite a bit, because if you were a fly and the only way to get out of it was to become a fly, you're kind of trapped in an infinite fly loop. That would not be very fly, but I made a joke. A dialogue on personal identity and immortality. Hackett Philosophical Dialogues by John Perry. Used a lot of sources. I think he gave credit to different authors for different arguments. Well, maybe it was one of those things where they have like the footnotes, like the sources in little numbers. But I still think that's, I think people do a disservice when they put too much information in the footnotes, because I think knowing that people were having these dialogues back in ancient Greece is an important piece of information to have about the knowledge. And also, like, when you can quote people like ancient Greek philosophers, it gives you some street cred. So, up in these streets. It's written as a dialogue between two people talking to someone on their deathbed, and the people use different arguments for if there is life after death. I mean, I feel like that's kind of rude of them to kind of imagine if you were on your deathbed and like your mom and your dad were just ignoring you as you were dying because they were like, your dad thought you were going to be reincarnated and your mom thought you were going to hell, and they were just having an argument and you were over there just like the heart monitor was just going like beep 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 beep, and you were like, oh my god. um but classic Socratic dialogue there. An interesting comment was how belief in life after death could be a very good energy production mechanism. Well, I'm always looking for energy production mechanisms because I like energy, especially other people's. Roy says, you said you're a cult leader. What's your cult about and how can one become a member? I love this because I don't even have to like recruit people. People just come to me and ask how to sign up. So, there are some big things coming in the cult soon because I'm about to hit a big YouTube milestone of that is going to unlock a lot of technology things that are going to help me kind of execute my vision. So I am working towards, there are two tiers of monetization on YouTube. The second tier, the one after this, is where you get money from ads. And that's what people normally think of when they think of monetization. But there's a lower, and that you need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. But there's a lower tier where you only need 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours, and it unlocks three different things. You can show items from your store if you have like a Shopify on your YouTube. You can create special videos that only members can watch, and people can send you donations and like live chat and comments, super chat sort of things. Those are the three things. And what I want to do is to be able to film special videos of rituals and things like that that only my inner circle of my cult can access. And so once I hit that, I'll be able to set that up. I'll also be able to, it'll be much easier to sell my merchandise, which I do have merch. Let me grab some and I'll show you. Okay, I make it all myself. Here are a couple things. I make these necklaces. I make 2 different variants of these necklaces. And these are available on my store. If you go to my website in like my bio and stuff, I have a merch store. This is the Sigil of Mayhem pendant. I have 2 different varieties. My camera's not focusing on it because it's set to focus on my face. So maybe if I put on my face. There's good photos on the merch site, I swear. But I make these myself. These are pendants you can use to hypnotize your friends and show them that you're officially in a cult. I make them in 2 variants. This is the chain version, and I also make it in a cord version. And currently it's only US shipping mainly. I could theoretically ship to other countries, but I've tried and had some unreliable shipping stuff with other countries, so I kind of avoid it for now until I can get like a third party or something. I don't know. I just don't want people to be disappointed. If you live in the US, I have other things too. I have temporary tattoos, but I don't know where those are right now. Actually, no, I can grab one. They all have my logo on them. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of buried, but there's pictures on the website. So you could get bracelets, necklaces, temporary tattoos of the Sigil of Mayhem to show that you are a member of the cult officially, and that will definitely bump up your status from a follower to a worshiper. There are different levels in the cults, and different levels have different privileges, such as being able to view special videos, getting priority attention from me, and priority wisdom and guidance in your life. I'm hoping that soon I will be able to not only have the ritual videos, but to have, bigger live streams like this where I can, tell people what to do with their lives when they come to me. Not unsolicited. I'm just here. I am the oracle. If you seek wisdom, you come to me and I'll give you wisdom. You know? I'm not trying to boss anyone around. I'm trying to find people who are lost and purposeless in their life and to give them some guidance to help them find meaning and purpose and give them a reason to go to work so that they can send me their life savings. And Fret, you said in the book, the person on their deathbed asked the people to convince them there is life after death. Okay, that's much less concerning um, than my picture of things. If I wanted to convince someone there was life after death, I mean, this is something I really believe. It's the thing that dies when you die is your ego. It is your name. It is your memories of the past. But like when someone has amnesia, they can forget who they are too. So I think death in a way is more like amnesia of who you are. Not as much. It's more of a remembering actually. Because I don't think you forget the life you lived as much as you remember all of the other ones that you've lived as well. And again, I say you loosely. I think there's not I don't think of it as like a unit of one soul. I think it's more cyclical but it is a good metaphor to think of it as one person who gets reincarnated over and over and over. Hi Lane. Welcome to my live stream. I am Mayy Hemm and I am a normal human girl who is human and not on any federal watch lists. Please interact with me. Um, so I think when you die, or even when you have an ego death, you just kind of remember all of the other lives that you have lived before or concurrently, which it's not forgetting. It's more of removing your suspension of disbelief. Because when you watch a movie and all of your attention is focused on the movie, you become absorbed in it, in the story. And that's what happens when you're living your life, is that you suspend your disbelief that all of this is real. You believe that all of this is real and that you are real. And you can do that because you have blocked out everything else. You can believe that your experience is the only one you have had or will have or are having because you've blocked out everything else. But when all of those things come in, suddenly it's a very different experience than what you were having. And you can no longer believe in the reality of yourself, that you are who you called yourself, who you called your name, once you see that you are everyone. So, this experience of selfhood is something that we have to forget everything else in order to experience. We have to suspend our disbelief, and death is the removal of that suspension, where you can remember it, but not, you remember it in the way you remember your childhood, but the magic is kind of gone because you've stepped behind the curtain and seen how it was made. Fret says, what would be the proper outcome of someone's personal connections when they die then, like to their parents? I'm not sure what you mean by proper outcome. Could you elaborate, please? Lane says, what do you think about the fourth way teachings? Um, I don't think that doesn't really ring a bell. I'm sure I've heard of it, but I couldn't give you a definition of what it is. If you could give me a definition. I know of the third way, like the middle way in Buddhism, of there's like two extremes, and the goal is to be somewhere in the middle. Like the idea that the extreme of hedonism is not correct, and asceticism of self-harming yourself is also not correct, but there's a third way in the middle. But I don't know what the fourth way is. Is that like doing both of them at once? Like starving yourself by getting really drunk? I don't think that's I don't know. Fret says, like, say you were going to be reincarnated. What about the personal connections that were important to you? If they were removed, would you still be yourself? Okay, so now are we going for a, deconstruction of what it means to be a self, such as like, um, when you lose your memory, are you still yourself? If you were transferred into someone's body, would you still be yourself? Would there be a possibility your reincarnated life would have the same people? Well, in the story of the egg, which, like, with a small asterisk, I pretty much think is true, and you can find my reenactment of it on my channel. It's called The Egg. Um, your personal connections to your parents seem pretty important. Well, yes, I think the whole point of the universe is connection with others, and connection is really just remembering that the other is not the self. But otherness is also part of the point of the universe, because if you can imagine a being that contained everything and it was everything in the universe, there would be no other, and so it would get very lonely because it would have nothing to relate to. Everything would be it. And I don't know, when I think about that, it feels really, I understand why you would want to separate yourself into a lot of different beings and then interact with yourself and want to forget that they were all you. I mean, that's what we do when we dream every night, is we hallucinate lots of other people and forget that they're all us. would you have different parents? Well, I think every ego incarnation has different parents other than brothers and sisters. Like your set of DNA is like kind of the code source of your specific incarnation, your ego's incarnation. That doesn't mean that your soul is tied to that. Or like I said, I think the soul is more like something that we borrow. Like we borrow our air, we borrow our water, and we have different soul and water and air molecules flowing through us at all times, and it's constantly changing and mutating. But I think maybe the universe was originally all one thing. And you see that even in the idea of like the moment before the Big Bang was this singularity where it was infinitely dense and everything was the same thing. And you could also think of it as something that some people call God, although I wouldn't necessarily tie it to every single thing in the Bible. I think side note, I think it's not necessarily blasphemous against God to say that there could be human errors in the Bible. And this is, I'm not a Christian or an atheist. I am a secret third thing. But I believe in something that I call God, but I don't necessarily believe in everything in the Bible because I think the Bible was written by humans and kings and priests and people who wanted power. And I think there's a lot of things in there that are contradictory and dubious. I really just believe, I think if God exists, then we can have a personal relationship with it. And that's the most important thing. And of course, a big point of our life is our personal relationships with other people. And I think the more relationships you have, the less deep each one can be. If you have 100 friends, you don't really know any of them. But if you have two really close friends, then you can start to really know people. And I think knowing others and oneself, which are on a higher level the same thing, self-knowledge is the point of the universe. Hello, M16ification. Hallie, cutie girl, I am here because I'm a weirdo with no life as well. That's cheers to that. I'll drink to that. This is just water. Don't worry about it. It's clear. I am really trying to make YouTube my career. I've been working on it for a while, but I really want to take it seriously. And but yes, I do just live with my parents and live stream in my room and stuff. So, um, yeah, I do. I have a life. I have a human life. I'm a biological creature, like just like you. I'm human. Okay. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, interact with me. Tell me, what are your special interests? Um, what are my special interests? I like the movie Twilight. I have a lot of posters in my room, and a lot of them are Twilight. I really like sweaters with stars on them. I have like 4 of them. I just got this headset. It's really cute. I love it. Um, I have cats. I used to be known in school as the weird girl who was really obsessed with cats. And that was like in kindergarten, but then it stayed with me through high school. I mean, they weren't wrong, but message retracted. Okay, I almost read it, but it message retracted. I don't know if that was you or YouTube. I don't know what it said, but I'm sure it was interesting. Okay. I aspire to be so bold that my words are redacted from the world for being too much. Just too much. The core teaching, oh, hello Lane. The core teaching in the fourth way is the teaching that humans are asleep and live in a state of semi-hypnotic waking sleep, where they act mechanically like machines without true consciousness. Waking sleep. I'll get into that in a bit. I need to ruminate on it a little more. M161ification says, what are the moral commandments of this cult? Okay. There's a difference between moral commandments and beliefs, but I'm just going to lump them all together instead of trying to sort them all out. And I'll say like my commandments as the cult leader, but you don't have to necessarily adhere to all of them. What I would say is that I put my cult as like this is what I believe in and this is where I stand and this is what I want in the world. And if you're drawn to join that cult, even if you don't, it doesn't matter if you believe in all of them or have some disagreements. In fact, I welcome disagreements because I think through dialogue, through a sort of Socratic dialogue, we can achieve closer and closer approximations of the truth. And I'm open to the idea that, some of my ideas could be wrong or slightly off because I believe in chaos magic and only holding beliefs as long as they're useful and necessary. And if I find a better belief, I would be like a hermit crab taking off its shell and going into the other belief. So anyone who sees what I'm about and thinks I want to be part of that, it doesn't matter if you're fully in alignment or not. It matters if you desire to be a part of something. And I'm just gonna say what I believe in. So I got $1,000 for all 4 of my wisdom teeth. That's good money. Hook me up with your tooth plug because I have too many teeth. I don't know when you joined the stream, but I was talking about teeth a lot earlier. Okay, moral commandments of the cult. I believe that base reality is the void. That means that essentially the truth is that everything is oneness, and even truer than that is that that oneness is the same thing as nothingness, because if you unite everything that exists in all the non-existence, then it creates a third thing that's like the substrate of the universe, and that is kind of what God is, and it's sleeping under the universe and dreaming it into existence, and all of these different beings that are essentially the same soul reincarnated simultaneously across time. So for that reason, I think it's really important to be kind to other people and creatures because the same and treat them the same way that you would treat yourself, because you will eventually be them and they will be you. And so treat people as if you were going to swap places tomorrow. That's really, I would say that is the first commandment. It's kind of the golden rule. You have a blood disorder? I want to give you a hug right now. Aw. Yes, I have to take supplements to blood, which this is not. This is water. Lane says you should make more neurohacking videos, in my opinion. Also look at what videos are most popular on your channel and look at channels that are popular and you look up to or like the same subject. Thank you. I think I think sometimes it's kind of random which ones go pop off. But I did notice some themes, like the algorithm likes it when I mention more popular creators or like tag them or something. So I'm gonna try to do more of that. Like I have a video planned about Joe Rogan and stuff like that. Howdy, Eric D8415. Howdy, thank you for joining my live stream. I appreciate people being here and talking to me so that I don't have to talk to myself and the voices. What have you been thinking about? Honestly, I say every single thought that pops into my head, and if I'm not talking, then my brain is in a state of meditative silence. Like I just listen to the sound of my heartbeat, which I have a heartbeat. It 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 runs all by itself. I don't have to tell it to do that. Just like you. Do you ever think about nothing? Like, well, I do think about nothing a lot, but that is not actually what I mean. Do you ever like just not think? Just to kind of, it's like a palate cleanser. Like, I think a way to do it is if you're in a quiet room and you try to listen to the silence. I think that is actually a very effective meditation technique to, and because there never really is silence. You always hear like the Wi-Fi router running or like the clock ticking or, you know, a person 3 miles away coughing, normal things that humans can hear with their normal human senses. Lane says, how long did it take for you to do your makeup? An hour. It's got glitter. I made this lipstick from scratch because I am allergic to red 40, and you should be allergic to red 40 too. You probably are on some level, you just haven't realized it, but red 40 will kill me. Um, but I'm not allergic to iron oxides, so I just got some iron oxide pigment off of Amazon that's used for like making tiles and stuff, and I mixed it in with some lipstick, and now I have my own color that won't kill me. And I have glittery eyeshadow. It's fun. I love glitter. I try to feel my body as deep as I can, looking for tension. Yes, you should look for tension, and then you should beat the crap out of it. No tension allowed here. Lane says it's very fancy. Thank you, Lane. Also, look at my nails. I did my nails myself too. They have little rhinestones on them, and they match my lipstick. Lane says, I like the eye makeup you have on the most. Thank you. It was fun. I like when people have like a signature look. Like like that you could dress up as them for Halloween or something, because they just kind of wear the same thing all the time. It definitely took me a few hundred years to figure out what really suits me, but now that I feel like I got it down and I can just stick to that. I don't know how long this live stream has been going for, honestly. I don't know how to tell. Um, I'll probably end it soon unless I'll end it when I finish my drink that's just water. Anything spooky reading or experiencing? Thank you for the question. I am currently reading The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. I like it. It's pretty good. A big fancy edition of it that I was given as a gift. So, yep, I'm on the second book in the series now, so pretty fun reading about Wolf Killer. I don't experience that many spooky things. Usually I am the experience that happens to other people. love the movie for Interview. I actually haven't seen it yet. I don't really watch a lot of movies. I usually just watch Twilight once a year, but I actually haven't even seen it this year or last year, so I'm kind of, you know what I did see? I did see Dracula in theaters, the one that Luc Besson directed. I really like Luc Besson's work, especially Lucy, that movie that he made. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's very relatable to me. And I really, really liked Dracula, A Love Tale. I loved that movie. I went to the movie theater with my parents. It was a great time. I don't know if it's still in theaters, but if it is, you should go see it. And if it's not, you should get it on DVD and you should stream it or whatever. It was really a good movie, but I should watch Interview with the Vampire, the movie. Um, I hear that that actress who played Claudia did really good, so that would be fun to see. She was probably my favorite character. She's fun. You can do vertical live stream on YouTube and you will get more viewer on it. Well, the thing is, I just got this fancy webcam that I'm using. Um, but I will try that. I think it does have a vertical mode. So if I can do a vertical stream with this, then that would be interesting. But thank you for the suggestion. Um, but I don't know if I'll have to see how it saves as like watch hours and stuff because YouTube does save shorts views and like long form views as different ones. So I assume vertical one would still be long form if it was like really long, but thank you. I will look into that. That's very helpful. Eric says she's heartbreaking. I assume you mean Claudia. Yes, she's a lovely little creature. Hope that didn't sound gross or anything. All right, thank you guys for interacting with me. Fun drinking clear regular water hour with Mayy Hemm. This was my first live stream. I hope it will save. And thank you everyone in the future also who is watching this. And see you next time. Bye. Love Mayy Hemm. Bye bye.